This is OwlUp, where learning happens in minutes, not hours. For a deeper journey, explore all our courses at owlup.co. Now, let's dive in. Welcome to Chapter 3 of How to Build Muscle After 40, where we're diving into the good stuff, your personalized game plan for actually putting on muscle when you're over the hill. We'll break down exactly what a smart, sustainable muscle-building routine looks like when your body needs a little more TLC than it used to. Let's get into it. You can double your strength gains after 40 without training harder if you stop copying 20-something workouts. A dad in his late 40s cut his injury days in half just by changing 3 details in his routine. Today, we'll unpack what he changed and why it works. Most people think the over 40 problem lives in their joints or their schedule. In reality, it starts deeper. Your cells simply don't listen to growth signals as eagerly as they used to. Scientists call this anabolic resistance, and it quietly reshapes how effective every rep, every gram of protein, and every night of sleep becomes. So when you copy a generic plan, you're playing a game whose rules have changed without telling you. The good news: those rules are surprisingly predictable. Hormones drift, satellite cells slow down, and your recovery curve stretches out, but they all respond to specific levers you can control. In this episode, we'll treat your training like a personalized tech upgrade, dialing in load, frequency, and recovery windows so your body actually hears the signal to grow instead of just absorbing more wear and tear. Think of today as scouting the terrain before you charge up the mountain. Past 40, your muscles still adapt, but the timeline and cost of adaptation change in ways most programs ignore. That's why 2 people can run the same plan and get wildly different results. One gets stronger, the other just gets sore. We're going to zoom out and treat your whole week like a system: how often you train, how you distribute stress across sessions, and how your joints feel 24 to 48 hours later. Instead of guessing, you'll learn to read simple feedback signals, sleep quality, lingering stiffness, performance on key lifts, and adjust volume before problems pile up. The first lever in a 40-plus protocol is how heavy you actually lift. Not light for toning, not max out every set, but a middle zone, weights you can move for roughly 6 to 12 solid reps, where the last 2 feel challenged but not panicked. For most people, that's around 65 to 85% of the most weight they could lift once. In this range, you create enough tension to tell your body, "We need more muscle," without needing endless repetitions that grind your joints. The second lever is how often you send that signal. Instead of annihilating one muscle group and waiting a week, you spread the work across 3 to 4 full-body sessions. Each session is moderate, but key muscles get nudged 2 to 3 times every 7 days. That repeated, manageable nudge tends to work better than the old "leg day destroys you, then nothing for 6 days" pattern. Third, you make every rep count. Past 40, junk volume is expensive. 3 focused sets done with controlled tempo and full range of motion will usually beat 7 sloppy sets done while scrolling your phone. One way to sanity check: if your last set looks like bad karaoke, offbeat, strained, compensating everywhere, you've stepped over the line where quality drops and wear rises. Next comes joint protection. Swap any lift that consistently irritates a joint, even a little. Barbell back squats bothering your hips? Try a safety bar squat or heel-elevated goblet squat. Overhead presses cranky on your shoulders? Use a slight incline press or landmine press. The movement pattern, push, pull, hinge, squat, matters more than the exact exercise, especially now. Around the main lifts, you layer in brief mobility and prehab checkpoints. Think 5 to 8 minutes, not a 45-minute yoga class. Ankle rocks before squats, light band external rotations before presses, a couple of controlled hip cars before hinges. These tiny insurance reps keep positions available so your strength work doesn't carve you into stiffer and stiffer shapes. Finally, pair all that with deliberate protein timing. Hitting a daily target is crucial, but spacing protein across 3 to 4 meals, each containing a meaningful dose, gives your body multiple clear build signals across the day instead of one big, easily ignored shout. Think of this protocol like composing music rather than just turning up the volume. You're not trying to blast one muscle group and then go silent. You're arranging a rhythm your body can repeat week after week without burning out. For example, instead of a marathon Monday chest day, you might sprinkle 2 to 3 pushing movements across 3 sessions, each one a short, focused verse instead of a stadium solo. Auto-regulating volume is like adjusting the set list mid-concert. If your bar speed slows dramatically or your technique starts to drift, that's your cue to cut a set, not prove toughness. On better days, you might add a controlled back-off set while form still looks crisp. Protein and mobility work become the background instruments that keep the whole track balanced. A quick hip reset between meetings or a consistent 30-gram protein breakfast doesn't feel heroic, but over months, it shifts the noise floor so small aches and stalls don't drown out progress. A decade from now, the 40-plus protocol could feel less like working out and more like using a navigation app. Your watch flags subtle drops in grip strength or power like a traffic alert, then quietly reroutes today's session toward lighter tempo work or extra mobility. Baseline scans from your 30s might become the passport photo clinics use to catch silent muscle loss early, long before you notice any weakness in daily life or weekend sports. Your challenge this week: do a quick Future You audit. Pick one daily task you want to perform effortlessly at 70, carrying groceries upstairs, gardening for an hour, or playing a full game of pickup basketball. Now, reverse engineer a single exercise in your current routine that clearly supports that task. Maybe loaded carries for groceries, split squats for gardening, or push-ups for basketball. Perform that exercise twice this week with deliberate form and a short note afterward about how it felt. Use those notes to decide whether you need more strength, more mobility, or just more consistency. Think of this decade as learning a new operating system, not mourning the old one. Small, repeatable inputs, like steady sleep, walks after meals, and consistent protein at breakfast, act like background apps quietly boosting every session. Keep testing, adjusting, and logging. Over months, the pattern that fits your life becomes clearer than any perfect plan. Before next week, ask yourself, 1. Looking at my current evenings, what's one concrete change I'm willing to make, like cutting late-night Netflix by 30 minutes or moving dinner 60 to 90 minutes earlier to support better sleep and hormone balance after 40, and what exact night will I start? 2. If I had to pick just 3 non-negotiables from the 40-plus protocol, for example, protein at every meal, a 10 to 15-minute daily walk after eating, and a consistent bedtime, which would make the biggest difference for my energy this month, and how will I build them into my actual Monday, Friday schedule? 3. When do I usually abandon my health intentions, afternoons, weekends, travel, and what's one very specific if-then plan I can set up now? For example, if I hit the 3 p.m. slump, then I'll have a protein snack and take a 5-minute walk instead of grabbing sugar or more coffee. This was OwlUp, your daily step forward. To keep learning with structured courses and more insights, go to owlup.co. Until tomorrow!